Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Pregame Network podcast. This is episode 81. I am your host, Dan, joined by my pal Anthony, as usual. And we're here to talk about more video game stuff that happened this week.
You didn't
Um,
introduce me as bestest pal. Are there rough waters? Are you angry with me about something?
you'll find out after the episode.
Oh no!
Sorry to break it to you. I didn't want to do it on air.
Oh
Um,
damn!
but yeah, so we're back again, like we said we would be. We're just that gift that keeps on giving.
Of course.
And before we get into the news proper, as usual, we'll talk about what we've been playing, and then we will just go from there. I think I've been going first for the most part, so I will let you take the lead on this one
All right, cool.
this week if you'd like.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's a relatively short list. I've been doing a couple events in my different gacha games, particularly with Genshin Impact. I made the mistake, as you know, of basically telling Harrison that we could play Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which is a game we've been playing on and off in excessive amounts over the last 14 years. And despite finally getting him away from that in a way we were comfortable with different games, even though he always wants to go back to it, I managed to put it at bay. I said, "Oh, it's the 14th anniversary. Let's play it." And since then, that's the only game he's wanted to play. So I've been playing a shit ton of Marvel vs. Capcom 3, which I
Oh
love the
God.
game. It's just the well is kind of dry there. I really do need a new Marvel vs. Capcom. I'll play it.
Mhm.
It's not like a couple hours is gonna kill me, but hot damn, please give me
It's
a new
been
one.
nothing but a couple hours every hour.
And that's pretty much it, But aside from that, the only other game of note I've really played is we finally got around to playing some Arc Raiders, and that's been a lot of
We
fun.
spent like all fucking day yesterday playing
Yeah,
Arc Raiders.
I guess
Um,
some is kind of underselling it. I think we played a total of like 7 hours at this point.
Yeah, it was a lot.
Something
I
like
have
that.
almost 20 so far in the game.
Yeah. So yeah, we definitely put a
putting
lot
some
of
time
hours
in.
into that, both with just the two of us, and we ran as a group of three with Harrison. And
Mhm.
I've been enjoying it. I do gotta say, overall, as far as extraction shooters go, I kind of always have that worry where it's just like, okay, you have the good gameplay. This is what it's all about. But is the core content going to be enough to keep me coming back? And so far, a lot of the pitfalls and small things I was worried about, where it's just like, oh, typically it's all or nothing with loot and what you go in with, and I'm pleasantly surprised by the fact that there's a lot of easy ways to get back up when you lose some shit and all that kind of stuff.
Which
That was something
happens
I was really worried
often, I
about.
might add.
It happens more often than you'd believe, but yeah. So
Thing is, like, we're not going out on hunts. We're going out to do quests, and then we end up getting fucked by another team. Or yesterday, we just got flat out betrayed by that one team. We went to the dome place on the first map, and we roll up on it, and I see some guy looting, so I get on Prox chat, and I was like, "Hey man, we're just passing through, like just trying to get to a waypoint for a quest." He's like, "Oh, it's all good, go about your business or whatever." So we loot like two or three things in that same building, and then we leave. And fucking, you had to stay behind to do what I can only imagine was inventory management, and they just fucking executed you.
don't
So
victim blame. Good lord, Dan.
So me and Harrison and I double back, and we all got fucking wiped.
Mhm.
Ugh, that one
Yeah, I
bothered
mean,
me a lot.
Yeah. Overall, I mean, when it comes to the community in that game, obviously there's been this kind of, I guess, moral and emotional tug of war in the community as far as working together versus beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
And now that I've experienced it firsthand, basically all I have to say is I hear that solos still like a nice little ground, but like the larger your team size, the larger the pools that you're into, the more bold people get and the more chance that you're going to run into somebody who's just there to fuck somebody else up. And here's the thing, I'm not going to be that guy where I'm just like, oh god, please think of the community, think of the experience. I legitimately, having experienced it a few times, I don't think the game really rewards that kind of style. It's got to be certain.
No, it
It's got to
really
be like
doesn't.
it's got to be just a raw thrill kind of thing, for
No,
some of
it
these
definitely
people.
doesn't. Because
Yeah.
Embark, like, they actually went on record in an interview and said that Arc, like the Arc robots, those are the primary enemy of the game, of all the raiders, and like that is the way that they were planning on keeping it.
Mhm.
So it's, unless like you happen to kill somebody that has just like an outrageous loot haul that run, you're really not getting anything from it. It's not like you get extra like experience, or I don't think there's any milestones or challenges for it. There might be. I haven't
It's
spent that
possible.
much time with the game, but yeah, there's not really an incentive to like go out of your way to kill the other players.
Yeah.
And I've played a lot of solos as well, and I would say not the vast majority, but the majority of the time, people are just kind of running around doing their own quest, and then they're not looking to get into a fight.
Yeah.
But like you said, that goes away when you even add one more person to the mix.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but
so
yeah,
yeah,
I mean, overall, yeah. So, I mean, the only other thing I have to say really about it is like, honestly, just getting into that conflict. I'm not saying the game couldn't be like a competitive shooter if they decided to use that engine for something, or decided to add a strictly PvP mode or something. You know, if they add supplementary modes, kind of like Power Shift was a supplementary mode to the finals. It's just like
yeah,
you can tell like there's no like, from a gameplay perspective, there's no like good feedback that you get from
yeah.
shooting other play. Like it's aside from the, you went over the rewards and everything like that, and that's obviously that's another valid thing to go. But like when I said it, I was saying like it just did not feel like receptive or impactful. It didn't feel good, you know. And I
Oh,
don't mean like in the we were all here together to work towards one I mean like it did, like the game wasn't giving me like feedback you expect when you're in like a first person or a third person action shooter in multiplayer mode.
mhm.
But yeah, overall pleasantly surprised with it. I really hope that the content grows and improves as we make our way through the content that's in there, because like there were a lot of things that disappointed me about it, namely in like the things you can get for customization, which is kind of, it's very important in general for player expression, but it's also hugely important in a game like Arc Raiders where like your loot pool and your weapon pool is going to be constantly changing. You need a constant for players to latch
Mm,
onto, and I think player customization could be that. And it's in a very rough spot, I would say, you know, especially with the fact that
yeah,
everything's kind of locked to individual outfits that you customize. But, you know, I mean, if that's where I got to go for my complaints, you know, where it's just like I worry about future content and I worry about customization options, what does I say about the gameplay itself, which is that it feels good to play, you know? So,
right. Well,
I'm
on the
happy with it so
content
far.
front itself, since we're talking about it, I wasn't gonna get into the whole Arc Raiders thing until later, but since we're talking about it, on the content front, since launch, they have added one map, and they've also added two enemy types. I don't know if you knew that.
I
So
did
they
not.
have put more content into the game so far. The
Hmm.
map that they did add is a part of a quest. I think it's called Stella Montis or Stella Mortis, something like that.
Okay.
Um, it's entirely indoors, and that seems to be like the PvP ground. That's where people seem to go to like really get into PvP fights.
It's
And
smart to
then
have specialty areas like
yeah,
that to really, you know, get the extremes of either end to go to one place.
yeah, and then the two new enemy types they added. One of them is exclusive to that indoor map. It's I think it's called the Shredder, and the other one is called the Matriarch, where it's like a queen equivalent. Uh, I don't even think we've come across a queen so far,
Okay.
but the queen is like the big boss enemy in the game, where it takes a lot to put that thing down.
Okay.
And I don't know what the difference between the queen and the matriarch actually is, but I know that the matriarch is another like very large class of arc robot that they want you to fight.
Okay.
So they have added, or I mean, the game has been out for what, like 2 weeks now.
It hasn't
Um,
been very long.
yeah. I mean, they've added like a respectable amount of content for the game not even being out for a month yet.
Yeah.
So like I think that they probably have a bunch of
I,
stuff queued up.
it's not that I don't have faith. It's just it's unknown unknowns. You know, things
Right.
that you know
Yeah.
that are coming down the way.
Overall, I mean, I do like it. I like the gameplay. It feels really good to play. It
Yeah.
looks gorgeous. The whole loot economy, it's a little bit difficult to understand, in my opinion.
Hmm.
A lot of different items have more than one use case, so that makes it tough to really nail down what you are going after. Because like we keep on going in and then getting eliminated, and then I'm just kind of like resetting my progress back to zero if I want to work towards a new weapon or a new augment or something. Uh,
Hmm.
that is the only part that's really been like downright frustrating to me.
Okay.
Everything else, I just have to take the time to learn more about it, which will naturally come in time. But I just feel like I'm getting reset back to zero every single time. I I mean, I guess that's kind of by design, right? Like it's an
Yeah.
extraction shooter. If you get killed, then you lose everything and you get reset. Um, but I don't know. I feel like I'm not progressing in like gear in the rate that I actually should be. That
Yeah.
is my one complaint so
Yeah,
far.
there's a little bit of a hurdle or a learning curve as far as, what exactly is going to be necessary for the loot. Like you and me, we discussed this earlier where we're holding on to a lot of shit and we don't know if it's necessary to hold on to it. I'm just going to say again, like what I do is like if it says recyclable, I just fucking recycle it and hope for the best when the time comes when I need more shit. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, as far as everything goes, we'll see what happens as things progress. I will say that like I was kind of getting a lot of, and bear with me, I was getting like Helldivers vibes. And what I mean by that is like
Really?
it's almost like if you said like I'm gonna make a third person shooter with PvE elements. Helldivers is one way you would go about it, where you like lean fully into the PvE experience. Some of the balancing gripes aside, you lean into like full like power fantasy with all the explosion stuff. And Arc Raiders is a different way you could take it, where it's you're going into these
The
maps and
enemies
there's
are
certain
like
goals on the
such a
map.
threat.
And
It's
so,
crazy.
yeah, it's I don't know. I feel some similarities there. I know they're not the same game, but it's just like it's almost like they're these two games have entered a pool of games that has been vacant for a while. So it's almost like it's the first time we're seeing options in this particular area.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like
Actually, another
I
great I just thought
yeah.
of on the spot is that
Yeah.
like if you are planning to stay in a run for like pretty much the entire time,
Hmm.
you need to bring a lot of ammo with you, and there's
Yeah.
really no way of getting a consistent source of ammo in game.
Yeah.
And if you're going to be fighting the bigger arc enemies, plus you always have to worry about the inevitable threat of a team coming to kill you. Like you burn through ammo very, very fast.
Mm. Yeah. No, you
So
definitely do.
that's something that I also kind of take issue with. Um, like I found
The,
ammo crates
the,
around the different maps, but it's like it's not enough to sustain you.
yeah, it definitely leans into the survival aspect a little bit. Not in an overbearing way, but in a noticeable way, I guess you could say.
Yeah. But overall, I think Arc Raiders is off to a really, really strong start. It's still like one of the top games on Steam right now. And I think a lot of it comes from the fact that uh, they're not trying to emulate anything. They even pivoted mid-development cycle from like solely PvE looter shooter to, oh, this would be better with a PvP element to it, and that's how we got what we have now. Actually, the I forget who it is, but somebody made a documentary series on YouTube off of the actual Arc Raiders like official YouTube channel. I think it was some guy that used to work for GameSpot or IGN. I don't remember which one, but the first episode came out. It was 30 minutes long. I think it's a 3-part series so far, and it was just interesting to hear from Embark themselves of like how the game came to be, and where they want to take it, and just how they got there. That's always fascinating to me. But yeah, overall, Arc Raiders is a really good time. I definitely plan on dumping a lot more time into it because I want to see all that the game has to offer, and I haven't even like reached the tip of the iceberg as far as the gear and the weapons and just all the different shit that you can acquire. There's a lot of different items that you can loot, which kind of plays into my previous issue with like it's a little bit difficult to understand at first.
Mm.
Um, Maybe that's on purpose, but like so many different things have like more than one use case. So then like I'm always low on shit that I need to craft ammo or healing supplies or what have you.
Mhm.
But again, that's probably by design, like leading into that survival genre a little bit. But overall, I like it a lot. I would probably give it an 8 out of 10 if I had to slap a number score on it.
Okay. No, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we kind of got real derailed off
I mean,
of what we've been playing.
I mean that's fine for what it is. I mean, I got pretty much everything I needed to say out about it. It's a decent game. I hope the content keeps on coming. My understanding is that next month is going to be filled with a decent amount of content. I feel some similarities with Helldivers, and where the ultimate thing I was going with that is I think their content structure is going to be very very similar. Even I mentioned some similarities with Orc Raiders and Helldivers, but I do think that ultimately, like, we're gonna see. I think Raider decks might be their version of War Bonds. We'll see how that goes, you know. So
It feels way more like a battle pass to me than, which I guess the Warbond is a type of battle pass. But like, what are they going to put in it? It's all going to be cosmetic stuff.
oh yeah, I mean, I know it's gonna be cosmetic, but I mean, like, the layout and how you get the currency and things like that are gonna
Oh
be the
yeah,
same.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
and
I mean, it's exactly the same.
yeah, it remains to be seen if it's going to be a situation that's like, okay, here's a new Raider deck, but the old one is still present or not. You know, that's what
Mm.
it looks like that's what they're going to do. I don't know for sure yet, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's pretty much all I've been playing. It's just those
Okay.
handful of games. What
Yeah.
about you, bud?
So obviously, I've been playing a lot of Arc Raiders. I've been playing a
Okay.
lot of Battlefield as well. That's going to be a staple for me. I
Of
just I know
course.
it.
Yeah.
I've been getting more into Space Marine 2 again. I think I said this last week, but it's just such a fun action game, and I fucking love Warhammer. So there's that. And then I bought a new game today. Actually, I started playing. It came out in early access. It's called Cleared Hot. Have you ever heard of this?
No, but the only reason I hesitate is because I saw you playing it, and that's
Yeah.
where my experience comes from. So no, just say no.
So do you remember the old Desert Strike games and like Urban Strike and Nuclear Strike and like those top-down
I actually
helicopter shooters?
I played a shit ton of Desert Strike when I was younger, so a
So
shocking amount. But yeah,
it is literally that, but brought up to modern standards, made by like 8 people. And
oh,
I put 2.5 hours in today. I just got it today. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
it's a
Like
good
way
style.
more fun, yeah, than it has any right being, in my opinion. Um, like the art style for the cutscenes, like it reminds me of like the mid '90s of how stories used to be conveyed in game. The dialogue is actually not complete slop at all. It's actually pretty funny sometimes, and the gameplay is, I would say, simple, but it's just like very satisfying. Like there's a lot of physics stuff going on the ground. Like the environments are very destructible. Uh, the way that ragdoll effects work with enemy soldiers is really entertaining. The way like the feedback works with the between the machine guns and the missiles that you're shooting from the helicopter
Hmm.
is just, it's really cool. It's just a really fun time. It was like $12 in early access.
As you're describing it, I think I was like flipping through my feed or whatever, and I think it popped up briefly. Unless there's two of these games wandering around.
I doubt that.
Yeah, me too.
But so it's in early access right now. There's only like 12 missions. I think I've did like 9 or 10 of them already, just in 2 hours. Like there's some stuff to unlock as far as the different weapons and helicopters and everything, but the core foundation of the game is very good so far. I mean, in only my 2 hours playing it, I've had a lot of fun with it in 2 hours. Didn't want to stop, so like that's a very good sign. But anyway, Cleared Hot is really cool. It just reminds me of being into video games back when I was very young. And,
Yeah.
who
It's
wouldn't want that, you know?
games like that. It's always nice to have an itch scratched for styles that have just, I don't want to say outdated because they're timeless, as your experience really shows, but they've fallen out of style. It's something that developers
Yeah.
don't really target.
Yeah.
I've given a lot of shit to indie developers that make games where it's just like, inspired by X, Y, or Z, and it's really only
Mhm.
3 games that they claim to be inspired by, or they're just sprinkling pixel art over something to make it fancy. But it is nice when a lot of those styles are tried again, and you just every now and
Yeah.
again you'll just get a nice little touch of something that was perfected or done really well a long time ago, and then left by the wayside by the industry. So
Oh,
nice little
there's
fun
a
times like that.
so I'm on the Steam store page right now,
Yeah,
and number one, the reviews are sitting at an overwhelming positive,
of
which
course.
it definitely deserves that. And it just launched. The release date was the 20th, so
Hmm.
3 days ago on Steam. So that's good to see.
Yeah.
And there's a roadmap. I did not even notice that before.
Oh, nice.
So they have all this content planned out over the next year. So cool. I'm excited. I didn't know that when I bought
There
it.
you go.
Um,
Fun times.
so yeah, and the regular price is $15. This is worth every penny. So if you are listening to this and this is your type of tea for an old school game, definitely go and buy Cleared Hot. Really cool.
There
Good
you
game.
go. Good stuff.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all I've been playing. Relatively short list.
Yeah.
So I understand you had an update for me from last week.
Yes. So we have been keeping up pretty much with the ongoings at Ubisoft and all the different stuff that they've been doing, right? And it kind of all came together last week where like they had halted trading of stocks. They had put a pause on their earnings report and everything. And me and you kind of we had a few ideas of what might have happened, but we didn't really know exactly, you know, what this could lead to, what could have really happened, what could have gone on and everything. And one of the things that everybody was saying is like, oh, could Ubisoft be bought out? You know, is that what's going on? No, they're probably going to get bought out by so and so, blah blah blah. And it turns out that's not really the case. So what ended up happening is, you know, the day came and went. Nobody knew for certain. There was no real public announcement. It just kind of, you know, slipped out eventually. And what we learned is that, you know, oh, nobody bought them out, you know, just, but out of the blue, Tencent now has a 26 and change % share in that company that they opened together. I've already forgotten the name. Vast something. I forget what the name's.
I don't know. A big number though.
Yeah, and the reason that is because apparently Ubisoft was very close to defaulting on a loan that they had, and Tencent bailed them out with like $1.1 billion or something like that. Oof. And yeah, so I mean, first of all, halting trading, I'm pretty sure that opens them up to some great penalties or something like that. That's just something you don't do unless you literally can't. And afterwards, after that stuff happened, their earnings report came out. And everybody was up in arms, Dan. They were talking, you know, they were explaining things. They were just like, oh my God, Assassin's Creed Shadows, it's overperforming this. You know, look how great Ubisoft's doing, this, that, and the other thing. And I go, seems really suspect, you know? That doesn't sound right to me from everything that we said, right? And, you know, it's beyond just the news reporting it, but every now and again, like, you wouldn't know these people because you don't necessarily have your ear to the ground the same way that I do. You definitely have your ear to the ground and your finger on a pulse on select things, but I pick up on certain personalities when they say things, right? Like I can point to a news outlet and I can say, okay, that's just a news outlet, but I can hear a particular voice. I'm just like, you only speak up during certain things, like, and there were a lot of people who have been like the same guys that were saying shit like, oh, you know, Assassin's Creed Shadows is #1 in Europe this week in this region, you know, weird shit like that, like weird metrics where it's almost like they have like they have reasons. Yeah, it's like it's something. It's like it's more that they want it to succeed and not that they are watching it succeed, you know. So of course I dig a little deeper. Dan, these people, and I think we already know the answer, but these people are either disingenuous or they've all forgotten how to read. Assassin's Creed Shadows is not overperforming for the company. The Assassin's Creed brand as a whole is overperforming for the company.
How does that even make any sense?
Mirage, Assassin's Creed Mirage apparently got DLC or something. So the way they're spinning it is basically they looked at their entire back catalog of Assassin's Creed titles, including the other one that recently came out, Mirage, which just got DLC, and they basically said, look at all the sales that the entire series that has ever been with Assassin's Creed is doing. Look at them overperform. Still no numbers on Assassin's Creed Shadows, but now you have everybody online pretending that Shadows is overperforming. And I was just like, I don't know why people just like lie so blatantly. Like, I don't know why they like, is everybody just activated in such a way where they feel the need that this one game just needs to succeed to prove everybody wrong? Like, it's Assassin's Creed in 2025. Like, why are we going to bat for this fucking franchise? I don't get it.
I wish I had an answer.
Yeah, it's just wild to me. So basically, Ubisoft is still in a very bad spot. Tencent is digging their claws in deeper and deeper through moves like this. Shadows is still no numbers on Shadows, but Assassin's Creed as a whole is selling. And afterwards, after it was revealed during their earnings, because if you dig deeper and you go through all the different in the report, you find out that most of their money is coming from back catalog stuff, which is fine, you know. Back catalog stuff should sell well year after year. There's plenty of good games in Ubisoft's back catalog, which is why their current state is just like a tragedy, you know. But
Yeah.
but the other thing is, like, there was like reports. I forget who said it. Who from Ubisoft said it? But they said something like, "Oh, gamers don't want single game experiences anymore. They want games as a service." I'm like, you stupid son of a bitch! You like the hubris of like spending years making your brands shit, and then having the audacity, people finally caught on, or they're not buying into your shit blindly as much as they used to anymore. It's the gamers that are the problem. They just don't want these games anymore. It's like,
yeah,
no,
sure.
the type of game is fine. You're just not making good games,
this kind of, well, number one, on the Ubisoft front, you posted something about Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time, the remake being
yes.
That there's supposedly it's going to release before the end of Q1 of 26. One, I don't fucking buy it. I just no, I just don't buy it. And two, I mean, this really reminds me of what's going on with COD right now, which is actually something that I wanted to talk about just in general, not like for the game itself, but I recently beat Black Ops 7, right?
Yeah.
Like a couple days ago. Number one, so like laughably bad, the campaign. It's awful. It was like nothing is fucking explained. They chose the wrong ending. They chose a canon ending that like just doesn't make any sense to set up a sequel from Black Ops 2. And the core like gameplay, like it's Call of Duty, it's always going to be fun on like a base level, but literally everything else around it is just, it's garbage. And I'm pretty certain I pinpointed why it's actually garbage. I am convinced right now, after doing a little bit more digging and kind of going back through a level or two, I'm convinced that the entirety of the Black Ops 7 campaign was created by AI. And there's a few things that makes me think this. Number one, after looking into it a little bit, I found that Microsoft, who owns Activision and owns Call of Duty, they are making such a push into AI that they literally want it incorporated into everything that is done at the company, down to holding meetings with staff members and asking them, how are you implementing AI in your daily workflow? And I bring this up because I was, during my quote unquote research for why I think this, came across a comment on a video. And I actually posted it today, but I'm going to read it verbatim because I think it's actually, I think it speaks volumes.
Yep.
So, quote, as someone who left Microsoft recently, at our most recent performance review, they specifically had a section where we had to put down and explain to our managers how we integrate AI into our work. It's become soulless over there. Every other meeting was related to AI and trying to figure out how we could improve the workflow with it. Seeing the quality of Black Ops 7 just proves the point that they no longer care, end quote. And I mean, yeah, like the proof is in the pudding. Yeah. I played through the campaign like once fully, then I went back and did like an end game mission, and then I played I think the second mission where you fight Woods, which is really like a fucking Resident Evil boss or something. It's just laughably bad. And then like during one of the cutscenes where David Mason is walking through, I think it's like Arlington Cemetery where all the military graves are. If you go, like, if you don't look at what they're trying to make you focus on, the gravestones don't have anything written on them. They're just blank. And like, why would you need to do that? Like, oh, I don't know, maybe to streamline something. I think that the game from top to bottom was made by AI. Like, do you remember last week I said how you know, even if you play through the campaign single player, you don't have your AI squad mates with you, but you still hear them talking in your fucking head.
Yes.
Like, it was like a really weird disconnect. I bet you that AI made the decision to do that so it would save on some kind of processing power on the back end while the game is running. Because you don't need squad mates if you have like a res kit and you're only playing solo, even though you have to be online all the time and you can't pause it. But I also think this speaks to a broader problem in the games industry the world over.
Mhm.
I think if, as players, as consumers, if we don't call this out and most importantly, like vote with our wallets, which is definitely happening with Black Ops 7 especially. If
Yeah.
we don't call this out and like point and laugh and say, "Oh, look how bad this is," obviously, one, it's just going to continue, and two, it's going to get so much worse, which is really what I'm concerned about.
Yeah.
Um, it is, like I said before, upon first glance, like maybe you wouldn't have noticed that AI had more than likely had a lot to do with it. But you take one peek under the hood, and like it becomes painfully apparent that everything that was done in this game was made with AI in some capacity.
Mhm.
Like the writing makes absolutely no sense. The mechanics make no sense. The fact that you can't pause the game, which is a feature that we've had literally since the invention of fucking video games, isn't that like it doesn't make any sense. And why? Because AI doesn't know how to make a fucking game that had been made by people for 30 years. It just it. I'm starting to lose it a little bit here on this little rant,
I
but
get you.
It's just crazy to me that this passed the sniff test, and and I mean, maybe it's not that crazy just knowing Microsoft. Yeah.
So what I'll say to that is that I don't think AI is as intricate as it needs to be in order to have as full a grip as you're just making it out to be. However, what I will say is that AI is in a position that would allow uninspired creatives and the outsourced labor hired to bolster them to kind of fast track a lot of things and get a lot of work done that, without the love and care of previous Call of Duties. So I'm willing to believe that there is definitely a large amount of AI in there, more than there needs to be. Especially like I would say that the where AI has kind of been already kind of shoehorned in the last couple of years into the different gaming segments is like graphics and certain textures and whatnot. It wouldn't surprise me if there were more than a few textures like that, and probably some calling cards and loading screens that you can unlock throughout the game are probably AI generated. Wouldn't surprise me. What you told me about Microsoft and how they're kind of trying to integrate that way doesn't surprise me for a couple of reasons. One, we've talked more than a handful of times already about how companies are going to lead into that and our positions on that. Microsoft in particular has that kind of very heavy weight where everything that's not even related to gaming, but like every part of Microsoft outside of maybe their cloud services are trying to lean as heavily into AI as possible. A lot of companies are, but with Microsoft, it's more prevalent because they have multiple different factions, and Xbox has been kind of feeling that squeeze from those different factions. So it doesn't surprise me that Microsoft in particular would be hit the hardest, and the underlying companies. It's like I was talking about Ubisoft before. They're doing that. Krafton, the publisher for a lot of these different companies, they're trying to do that, and this kind of just all goes back to what I said before, where a lot of these companies are going to go all in on a lot of this stuff. While you also mentioned like people need to vote with their wallets. There's plenty of people who, the same kind of the ones with the same kind of consumer mindset where like, if I bring up an issue, one of my many issues, like things like localization and censorship, they may not be as activated. For some reason, a lot of those same like low level purchasers, I guess I could call them, the ones that just kind of buy in without a lot of scrutiny, they are absolutely like, they get into a fervor about AI. Just something about that just like irks them. So I do think that realistically speaking, there is a large sum of people where there wouldn't normally be for other issues going in and making their voices heard about the AI situation. I think it's going to be a turbulent time, as I've mentioned before, with this new technology, and I do think it honestly, the big winners are going to be mid-level companies that realize that, hey, we can use this to streamline some stuff, but a lot of the creative aspects still need to be human-led, I think creative fields, I guess I could say, still need to be human led. I don't, because
Well, I
if you
agree
just
with you.
tell,
Obviously,
yeah,
I'm just
no, I
saying
mean,
I think that
not just
Microsoft
morally.
took the wrong turn with this.
Yeah, no, they absolutely did, because, like I said, even in their other aspects, because we talked about it a while ago, where it's like Xbox is now feeling the squeeze of Microsoft proper because of all the things that have been said in there, right? All the different money they had to spend on Xbox, they need a return on it. And but Microsoft as a whole, like their software side, all that stuff is already going all into AI too. So that's only going to trickle down to the gaming companies.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a turbulent time for a lot of these companies as they kind of come to grips with this, especially as when they do try these things and they do try to put them into the game, it's going to be noticeable if you don't do it right. And that's when once you
Well,
put it in a
another
situation that they don't need to, that average consumer doesn't need to do research into, and they're affected directly, you're gonna get hit with some kind of reckoning. I don't know what size, but
well, another facet to this is that, um, I mean, I was going to bring this up later, but this kind of all fits together.
yeah.
Battlefield 6 apparently is the best-selling game of this year,
Mm.
and I don't have like hardcore data to support that. This is just something that EA put out,
Mhm.
just claiming this. Which I mean, I don't think you could legally do that without that actually being true. So I'm gonna take it at its word for now. Um, Apparently, Battlefield 6 is the best-selling game of this year. Now, um, why is that? Well, it seems like they actually listened to the fans this time and they went
Mhm.
back to their roots and they implemented a bunch of different features that have been in Battlefield games forever that made it so great to begin with. Now, the age-old rivalry between COD and Battlefield, reared its head this year for the first
Mhm.
time in a long time. And it is so painfully obvious that if you just listen to your fucking community and deliver on what people are asking for, if you build it, they will come.
Mhm.
And Black Ops 7 is just like has just missed the mark so as far as like what people want out of a Call of Duty game, um, that I almost can't wrap my head around it. And then another thing, the whole end game mode of like it's like DMZ but no PvP and like you're just going around and completing contracts and taking on bigger and bigger challenges. It's
Mhm.
almost like the Modern Warfare zombies system, only without the zombies.
Yeah.
Um,
I was
like
curious. I was curious because what you've thought about that in general, just because a while back when it first got announced, I had said to you, I'm just like, oh, that they announced a new mode that might be right up your alley, and you gave me like that response that I sometimes get with you when you forget certain things. We were just like, what? I don't give a shit about this. And then
no.
it turned around the other. Recently, you mentioned something that you wanted to talk about this mode, so I'm very curious because this mode seems targeted to you specifically.
Right.
Like you're the
So
kind of player that would love that.
yeah, so there's a lot to do in this mode, right? I mean, it's mainly there to grind out challenges and rank up and camos and all that stuff. Um, uh, and like you'll just see people wandering around in the mode that are just trying to do the same thing that you are, but they're just by themselves. But there's no friendly fire, so it's not like you can. Um, uh, it's not like DMZ was, where if you come across another person, you can just kill them and take their shit. Like you don't have any shit for them to take. It's just like, how do I put this? It's like Call of Duty, but just on a PVE map with challenges to complete. It's a different version of Warzone. I think that's the only way that I could realistically put it.
It's like we've reached the bare minimum. We went from Warzone to
Yeah,
DMZ to what was the zombies mode called? Modern Warfare. Was it
it's
just
just Modern Warfare
MWZ?
Zombies.
So
Yeah.
MWZ, and now we're just in like, is like the end state like flat grass from Gary's mod? Like where are we headed? You know?
Well, here's my problem with this, and I've said this ad nauseum in the past, but I'm gonna say it again because it's not gonna stop. Uh, I would care about this a lot more if I knew that it was just gonna all be washed away in 12 months time, and like nothing that I do here really matters. Like in my Call of Duty gaming career.
Mhm.
Um, they'll support it for a year, and then whatever comes out next year, which is like the rumor is Modern Warfare 4, that'll come out, and then no one's gonna touch Black Ops 7 ever again.
Mm.
Even if I was like really keen on trying Endgame, what's the fucking point? Like, I have a job, I'm married, I have kids, I have
More
responsibilities in my
importantly,
life.
more important than all of that stuff you just mentioned, you have other games to play.
Bingo. I was gonna say that as well. I have a lot of other games to play
Yeah.
actually, and I just don't. Even if you took out the fact that my interest in Call of Duty is at an all-time low, and like I have been on the wagon for a long time. Like you and
Uh-huh.
I grew up with the series, we played through all the highs and lows. Black
Yep.
Ops 7 really is just like a new low for the series.
It's another off
Um,
point. If
yeah,
it wasn't already
yeah.
like that with Black Ops 6, I mean, how much do we even play a Black Ops 6, really?
We played a decent amount of zombies in Black Ops 6,
That's
but
true. That's
Black
true.
Ops 7 Zombies is literally a carbon copy in a different map. Like they didn't change anything. But yeah, they
Yeah.
added a car. Okay,
I mean,
great.
I guess it's kind of nice that it was one of, like, even though they definitely didn't intend it this way, it was kind of nice for it to be like, oh, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, which is not what they did. They just like, ah, shit, the last one worked and we're running out of time. Let's throw this in
Yeah.
there.
I just had a thought. I just fucking lost it.
Mm,
Okay, no, I got it back.
okay.
Okay, I'm gonna end all because we're already 41 minutes in. I'm gonna end all
Yeah.
this by saying, um, Call of Duty right now is everything wrong with gaming in one nice, tidy little package. It is everything wrong with video games in one product, and they like if they want a good product on their hands, they need to course correct and pivot and take a couple years off, man. Like Jesus Christ, I
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna happen, but
No.
I could still shout into the void.
Yeah.
But
Uh,
anyway,
on
yeah,
the bright side, then, if Modern Warfare 4 is the next one, maybe they'll revisit DMZ now that all these different games are using those kind of formulas and, seeing
yeah.
some kind of success. Maybe we'll see DMZ
I still
again.
feel like Arc Raiders is going to be a better overall experience. But this was
Sure.
all jumped off of the point that you were making about Ubisoft of like things are these companies are just in a bad way. It's all
Yep.
been maximizing profit, minimizing loss,
And
and every decision you've made has led us from bad to worse. um, yeah, honestly, AAA has been down the shitter with the exception of Battlefield. Like,
mhm.
and even Battlefield, they didn't do some things that the community wanted. They still, the community still wants much larger maps.
You could almost argue they're doing the bare minimum.
In Battlefield's case, the bare minimum is like is a lot to get that series back up to where it was. Um, anyway, so I'm gonna move on from this because I've
Yeah,
ranted
that's fine.
about COD long enough. But the point being was that I was taking your Ubisoft topic and running with that because it kind of led into the same thing of just like terrible, terrible decisions and
Yeah.
basically being disingenuous and again doing the bare minimum.
Yep.
All right, so some updates for me. There was a couple. Let me just scroll up. Battlefield 6 Season 1, California Resistance is like the phase 2 of their Season 1 or whatever. New
Mhm.
map, excellent. Probably the best map in the game so far. Balance changes for weapons, on point, really, really good. Recoil and Bloom feel a lot better. They have battle pickups now, which were in Battlefield 1. Like you can just pick up this minigun that just fucking melts everything. It's pretty
Nice.
cool. And then there was like this weird type of near future railgun, which I'll say again, they are riding that fucking line so hard. Like it's so obvious to anybody who pays attention to it. But I guess we'll know more once season 2 comes out.
Yep.
So that's been a good time. I've actually been grinding at the battle pass in
Oh,
Battlefield,
good.
for a little bit now. Let's see. Killing Floor 3, we're getting a new map and a new enemy type. I don't have a date on that or anything. It's just, I feel like with Killing Floor, a lot of it is going to be too little too late. I think the game is fun. I don't think it's optimized very well, but I think the game is fun. The rearmament update definitely is how the game should have launched, but whatever, here we are. And then last but certainly not least, probably the thing I'm most excited about, the new class for Darktide is coming on December 2nd, and it is the Hive Scum. And we're getting like proper akimbo dual wielding with this class. I'm actually pretty excited for it. And the new way that they're making this class is like totally different from
Mhm.
any other class in the game, which is the way that it should be.
Yeah.
So those are my three little updates. I'm not
Okay.
really going to spend too much time because it's like,
Yeah.
not a whole bunch of content there.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got. Imagine that. I have an article from VGC. More players in the UK, US, and Japan still prefer single-player games.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, my whole
Wild.
thing, that's another thing. Like, it kind of goes back to what we were saying before. People just want good games. I know there are different avenues to to milk money out of and milk time out of players, live services and stuff like that. I think a lot of companies are learning that live service isn't something that you can just immediately, there's no lightning in a bottle to catch anymore with live service necessarily. You still could theoretically, but it's not easy to chase. But I do think that once again they're just going to keep trying to milk things in other ways. They're not really interested in making those solid single player experiences, despite the fact that people love doing that.
Yeah.
I will say that on the flip side, one of the other, like, that's kind of a demand thing in the industry, right? That's what I would describe what you just said as. A kind of like sad result is that also that as Christmas approaches, a lot of kids just want in-game currency. It's like,
yeah, it's like
that is kind of sad, man.
There's so much to say on that.
Yeah,
I don't even want to get into that right now.
It's yeah. I'm
actually,
not gonna go,
my in-laws, my wife's cousins, right? There's 4 boys in that family. They're all like, oldest one I think is 18 or 19, and then the 2 younger ones that they're twins. I think they're probably like 14, 15, somewhere around there. But they play Fortnite, at least the last time that I checked, and that's usually all they ask for Christmas is like the V-Bucks or whatever it's called. And like every time I hear that or I see them get that as a gift, I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean,
slop.
Fortnite is just like a whole, like, we still have that. If we ever want to talk about Fortnite, no, I mean that is a good example, but I mean it is the one that's good. That is the one driving up the numbers that I was basically going over, where a lot of kids, I think it's like 56% or some ridiculous number.
It's wild.
It's a really high number.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I meant to post this earlier. I forgot to though, but I came across this post, I guess, on YouTube of so this has to do with Arc Raiders. It's actually kind of interesting, and you might get a little chuckle out of it. These 2 guys on the internet, I don't really know how else to put it because they're not affiliated with a company or anything. They're just like 2 people that play Arc Raiders. One of them played a bunch of games on console, and the other played a bunch of games on PC. And they compiled a bunch of data that they gathered. And basically what they found is around 60% of the time on console, the betrayals and the PvP was like way higher on console. And around 35% of the time, betrayals and PvP were at like 60 something percent on console. And the same thing on PC was like 35. It was like half.
Yeah.
And I don't know how you would interpret that. I just thought it was very interesting. I wanted to bring it up to you. And it's not conclusive or anything. It's just like the data set that they got and that they compiled.
I think it's just a cultural thing because like, even though obviously, the gap between PC gaming and console gaming has kind of shrunk considerably, I would say. And even with, as time goes on, a lot of the people that were necessarily, I don't want to say age out because that's not fair. If you play video games, you play video games.
Yeah.
But people who, like, while, we were playing Nintendo 64 and PlayStation 1 and even PlayStation 2, original Xbox, all that stuff, in that period of time, like, there were people that only played PC gaming and they were in, like, different servers playing different games like Counter-Strike and, Team Fortress 1, Half-Life Deathmatch, Quake, all that kind of stuff. The culture between those two is so extremely different. It's a bit more chill on the PC side. Not saying there's some assholes on the PC. There's assholes everywhere. But like, there's a difference between the cultivated aspect of like revisiting servers as you would communities, and like what we grew up in with the Call of Duty 4 lobby voice chat. It's great divide there. That still persists to this day. That's if you've ever like seen like viral videos of kids talking on comms on the PS4, or just people in their late 20s doing the same. Like that culture is still there if your console is the main way you're playing online. So that's my takeaway from that. Console culture versus PC culture really hasn't changed all that much, despite the fact that more people are into PC gaming than ever before. Whenever this Steam machine comes out, it'll probably, even though I don't think it's going to sell monstrally, it'll probably bridge that gap even more. But the culture is purely going to be determined by who is playing on what and at what frequency.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting. I wanted to throw that one at you.
Yeah, that's my take on that. Speaking of the Steam machine, just to get that out of the way, because I'm sure, I don't know if you've heard this, but pretty much we had our little not disagreement, but we talked quite a bit about like what the prospects were at different price points for the Steam machine. And almost immediately after we had that conversation, we got light confirmation that Valve is going to be pricing the Steam machine above a console. Like it's not going to be priced in that space, which is
I said it was going to be like around 1,000.
We weren't disagreeing so much on potential prices so much as I was advocating for a lower price point. Not saying so much that they would agree there. We just basically got confirmation that that's where they're going to end up going with that, is the higher price point, pretty much. And
I don't think there was ever a world where it was going to be in line with a console.
I wouldn't say that. It was definitely more likely.
That's my opinion.
Humorously, I do think that it'll end up being priced around the same area as a console because of the RAM price spikes. Have you heard anything about that?
No, I guess this is recent.
Yeah, DDR5 is spiking in price right now.
Oh, yeah?
And we don't know if it's temporary or not because it is the latest. AI needs this, so everybody's buying it.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
There it is. And ruined stuff again.
And we're hearing in the back channels that Sony is prepared to a degree. Microsoft is not. So the Xbox might be going up in price again. And if this holds, the PlayStation will also be going up in price again. And so it's possible that by the time the Steam machine releases, everybody will be on the same price page anyway. So who knows?
So I guess in the end, you actually are right.
I guess so. Not in the way that I wanted to be.
Yeah, I was going to say not in the right way.
So that's what I had to say about that.
If a console ends up reaching like a $1,000 price point, I mean, console gaming is never going to be quote unquote dead, but like that's crazy.
Is there a term for like a Great Depression of video games?
Yeah,
is that what we're
Great Depression?
Great Depression. Oh my god. That's
well, we might get really close to what year was it that the video game industry almost completely imploded? Was it the early 90s?
Somewhere around.
Do you remember
there. I forget the exact.
You know what I'm talking about, though?
You're talking about the original video game crash, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I gotta find this out.
Yeah, that's when.
1983. Wow.
Well, yeah, it must have been much earlier because Nintendo and the NES and Sega Genesis, that's what got us out of the original crash. Like we're talking like the original retro stuff, like with Atari and everything. That's when the crash occurred.
Yeah. Video games are almost not a thing anymore.
Yeah, passing fad almost. God.
Imagine.
Can you imagine how boring life is. What the fuck would we be? Exactly.
God.
I don't even want to conceive of such a world.
All right, let me go over 3 small things, and then we can move on.
To this. Yeah.
Okay, number 1, Xbox yet again doubles down on their next-gen console, calling it a powerful experience. Whatever the fuck that means, man. Xbox just can't do anything right over the past 10 years.
Listen, I'm not. I won't say that I'm holding out hope for Xbox, but a lot can happen. A lot can change. If they get their foot in the door in this next generation, who knows what happens in another 7 years? Let's see what
yeah, but that's all hearsay, obviously.
No, but I'm saying like them remaining in the console market is like it's like a stopgap towards a complete Xbox collapse, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And
Where are the games though? You know,
I'm
like
just
you
gonna
guys spend billions of dollars on all these different studios, and there's not a single decent game to show for it.
a lot can happen in 7 years. A lot can happen.
I agree, Anthony. I agree. It's just
I'm
frustrating to watch this take place in
of
real
course.
time.
I'm not saying like, oh, guys, we're so back Xbox. That would be retarded to say. It is a small comfort that Xbox seems to be committed to the console space, because even if this is their last console ever, the next one, PlayStation needs the cardboard cutout of competition that Xbox is currently presenting. You do not want to
analogy.
You do not want to live in a console space where it's just Sony, because Nintendo's off doing their own thing. You do not want that. So
yeah, no, I completely agree.
Yeah, fingers crossed that Xbox comes out swinging at least with the hardware, because they need to remain in the space. And who knows, if in the most optimistic scenario possible, 2030 rolls around and they just decide, hey, this service thing, we're gonna die, let's make video games again and make them exclusive. Because I'm telling you, it's not gonna happen overnight. It would never happen overnight. But if they decided to fucking rug pull with everything they own, what's Sony gonna do?
Yeah. All we need to do is say, we're making every Bethesda game exclusive. We're making Call of Duty exclusive. What else do they fucking own now? I mean, Bethesda, there's a lot under
There's a lot of stuff under Bethesda.
Outer Worlds, have that be... Wait, that is exclusive, right?
Currently, it's exclusive. They still have a handful of exclusives.
Yeah. Nothing to move the needle, though.
Yeah,
but, if they gate-kept the same way that Sony does, I mean, we would be having a very different conversation right now.
Yeah, they should also get back into the process of doing deals. Like Ninja Gaiden should be an Xbox exclusive. They should try and get certain things.
Honestly, if that were to happen and they did do that rug pull, I would be laughing hysterically and also kind of happy.
I would just love to see like another table flip moment in the gaming industry.
Yeah, just out of pure desperation, because people are gonna want to fucking buy Elder Scrolls, right? Like that would be a system seller, right? Yeah. So maybe that's what they're planning on doing. When they announce it, just.
That was my initial idea all the way back when, but like it's still like, yeah, you mentioned Call of Duty. As optimal as that would be, they're not able to do that for multiple reasons. Like I could see that happening maybe 10 years from now, maybe when the
COD is literally just too big to do that with.
It's too big. Plus, I think they're still in that realm of like the FCC and the governments could get involved and say like, hey, you said this was not going to happen. They would need to do it. Like they would need to be way out of eyeshot. But I mean, that would be the ultimate fuck you. But no, definitely it's just a shame that the overreach of Microsoft, and I know a lot of people will always talk about, hey, it was a bubble waiting to burst. I agree to a certain degree, but like bursting this way was just ridiculous, Like
it's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing, but I guess we got off track a little bit again. But this is all to say that they have. They are restrained right now because of how they got to this point. But if they ever wanted to in the far off future, they could do some funny stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was one thing. The other thing, the next thing that I had was there was a new trailer put out for The Expanse, Osiris Reborn, and they actually showed off some snippets of gameplay, and it looks really good. We've been saying that this is very Mass Effect inspired, and while it's not this fantasy fictional universe, it's very much grounded in reality. You could definitely tell that the combat mechanics just right there, very Mass Effect focused, and I mean that in the best possible way. This is being made by Owlcat Games. I haven't played anything that company has made because it's mostly been CRPGs, or the most recent stuff of note has been CRPGs, and that's just not my cup of tea, as you know. But this trailer, this looks really, really good, and I'm officially excited for this game.
Right.
And I think it takes more than usual to get me excited about something.
That's good.
At this point in my
Excitement
life.
is good.
Yeah, because The Expanse is probably the greatest sci-fi show ever, in my opinion. People might have something to say about that, but The Expanse is a fucking phenomenal show. And it got canceled on, what was it on? Hulu, maybe?
Oh, I
What
can't remember.
Netflix possibly?
I wasn't the
It
one
got
watching
canceled
that
on
anyway.
on its original platform, and then Jeff Bezos liked it so much he just bought the whole show and put it on Amazon. Thank God for that because it was great from beginning to end.
I mean, hey,
So
if he
yeah,
liked it so much, why didn't he uncancel it? You know?
well he did. He
You,
uncanceled it and then they
oh,
finished the show.
oh, you know what? I always get confused because I never watched any of this. It sounded like you just put it on Amazon. I was
No,
thinking
no,
of
no.
that
He
other
bought the
show
rights.
that you
Yeah.
guys liked so much. Was it Firefly or something? All of
Oh
these
yeah, yeah,
sci-fi
yeah.
shows just blend together into one for me. So, The
Yeah.
Expanse.
But
Okay,
yeah, he
yes.
bought the rights to the show, put it on Amazon, and they made like 3 other seasons to wrap
Hmm.
up the story. And it
Yeah, how
was
about that?
really good from beginning to end. Actually,
Excellent.
one of the main characters in The Expanse plays a squad mate in Black Ops 7. And
Oh, hey.
she is insufferable in that game. uh, let's see, what's after that? Zoo Punk got a announcement trailer.
Oh,
And
yeah.
at first I saw the thumbnail, I was like, this is gonna be fucking stupid. And I clicked
Oh,
on it to watch it. And I'm actually pretty impressed. I actually said to you, like, I'm getting uh what the fuck is BGAE? What did I mean by that?
I have no fucking clue, Dan. I understood
Beyond,
Beyond Good and Evil.
yeah.
Okay.
Conquer, Beyond Good and Evil, and Devil May Cry, like all wrapped up into one. That's kind of what it seemed like to me.
It definitely looked interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know. It was noteworthy. So I
That'll
posted it.
teach you to judge a book by its cover, Daniel.
I
think
watched it. If I judged a book by its cover, I wouldn't have watched the video.
You walked in saying this is gonna suck. God damn
Yeah,
you.
I watched it anyway.
Okay. So
I
that's you.
saw a bunny with 2 swords riding like a hover motorcycle. I was like, all right, let's see what this is about.
Why would that be a problem? Why do you have a problem with like things
Because
that are different?
it looks ridiculous.
Oh my
But
god.
Anthony, you're acting like I didn't give it a chance.
If
I'm saying it looks cool.
If Ratchet and Clank came out today, would you scoff?
It's a different thing.
No, it's not
Different thing
different.
entirely.
God damn you.
Yes, it is.
No. Ugh.
Let's see. And then I said Black Ops 7 campaign was laughably bad. Dice said that Battlefield 6 is the top selling game of the year. We went over that.
Mhm.
We went over Ubisoft and Tencent, Prince of Persia. All right, that's pretty much all I got.
All right, so with that out of the way, we can get to the big thing of the
Big
of the
thing.
day.
You are going to take the lead on this one.
Yes, I am. So, Daniel, it is that time of year again where the official Game Awards show, the Game Awards, Jeff Keighley's Game Awards, has listed their nominees. And I figure, before we have our show coming in like a month or so. We may as well do, but we should still talk about it and just kind of do a pulse check on the industry, see what's going on. I gave you a nifty little spreadsheet with all the different nominees on there, so it should be easy to follow along. How do you like the spreadsheet, by the way? Does that make it easy for you?
A lot of information in here. Yeah. No,
Is it easy to read? I love making a good spreadsheet, so this means a lot to me. So anyway. So, basically, I eliminated categories that are bullshit, like esports creator. Nobody gives a shit about that. I don't know why I put innovation and accessibility on there. We'll get to that when we get to that. I also, you may have noticed, I left a note saying I forgot about AR VR. We're not going to cover it anyway. We pretty much know our opinions on AR VR, and then I changed the order a little bit. We're going to go over it from top to bottom, and we're going to end with Game of the Year. As we go as we go through this, I'm just gonna we'll give our little opinions on this. If you think something on here is deserving on this, you don't need to spoil anything for our award show. But if you think something on here is deserved, you can go ahead and mention it. You can mention what you think they're gonna pick. I know that's what I'm gonna be doing. And then if anything got snubbed that you think should be mentioned, just general comments on this. You know how to talk about things, so I don't really need to over explain this to you.
I am good at words.
Very good at words. You're giving me a lot today. All right, so first up is Best Game Direction, described as awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. The nominees are Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2 On the Beach, Ghost of Yotei, Hades 2, and Split Fiction. Now, looking at this, I just gotta say, we've talked about game direction before as a category, and I'll be honest, like, none of these games really break the mold for me,
Okay.
I personally think that any of these really have a chance, I do think it's more likely that, I guess I should say right away, I think Death Stranding 2 has a chance to win a lot of these awards just because it's Jeff Keighley's event and he loves him some Kojima. So I think it's very possible that Death Stranding 2 gets credit or some kind of award in this category just because Kojima said it himself. Strand is like his own game genre or whatever. It's his own thing. So maybe Death Stranding 2. Maybe Split Fiction, just because nobody's really making those kind of games. What do you think of this category?
Well, I haven't played pretty much any of them with the exception of Hades. I dipped a toe into Expedition 33, but you know that that's just not my type of game.
It is impressive that it held your attention for even a little bit, though. I'll give it some credit for that.
I think I played it for like 2 or 3 hours, and I'm just not a turn-based guy. I just can't do it. But I recognize and respect the fact that that game is as good as it is, and I take your word for this type of stuff, especially in one of these types of games, very seriously. For best game direction, I mean, I have a feeling that Death Stranding is actually my opinion is split between Expedition 33 and Death Stranding 2. I think Ghost of Yotei is just a carbon copy of Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
I don't think it does anything close to enough to differentiate itself as a sequel.
Yeah.
Hades 2, roughly in the same boat.
Pretty much.
I've only played a couple hours of Hades 2 just because a roguelite has got to be really special to hold my attention, and Hades 2 just ain't it for me. I agree that it's good. It's a fun time, but I don't think it's award worthy in my opinion.
That's fair.
Split Fiction is the only thing that's actually unique on this list, and I think that Split Fiction would probably be deserving of it, but I think that Expedition and Death Stranding, one of those two are going to win. That's my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. The reason I'm torn about who to really give this to and why I think if the industry is being honest, Split Fiction would probably win this, just because nobody's really doing games like that, and it's only really the second or third of its kind made by that particular studio in person. My reason for thinking Death Stranding is going to win it is just because I think Kojima, one of his biggest pushes with Death Stranding as a series was the strand system. Nobody's really making games like this where you connect and you move and you transport and all that kind of stuff. And as much as I love Expedition 33, and as much as the conversation around Expedition 33 is like, oh, no RPG's ever done this before. Plenty of RPGs have done this before. It's just it's not a popular style. Like the interactivity during combat, it's something that peaked, I want to say, in it peaked in the 90s, and then the last time it was really tried was with a game called Lost Odyssey, which was an Xbox 360 exclusive, surprisingly
I remember that game.
That one's a really good game. But anyway, so I would say that the top 3 contenders are probably Death Stranding, Expedition 33, if the industry isn't a fog, I guess, and Split Fiction would probably win if the industry is being honest with itself, just because, all bias is laid aside. That is the most unique in game direction. But moving on, best narrative for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game. The nominees are Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Kingdom Come, Deliverance 2, and Silent Hill F. I am once again going to say that the awards will most likely give this to Death Stranding 2. I personally think that of these, probably Expedition 33 is what I would pick, but I'm not particularly thrilled with any of these options. As much as I love Expedition 33, it does a couple tropes near the end that I'm not a fan of, so I'm not sure I would give it to any of these, but I think Death Stranding 2 is most likely to swoop in for this. Again, for that bias that I mentioned before with Jeff.
Well, again, I'm kind of handicapped by the fact that I haven't played any of these, but I know a little bit about the Expedition 33 story, and I actually think it's very interesting. It's kind of a shame to let into these games, because I would have liked to have known what happened in that story. But I think that I don't think that Death Stranding 2 would win, in my opinion, for this award show. I think it's going to go to Expedition 33.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be, just as a kind of thing, the flip side, to what I said at the beginning, where Death Stranding 2 has its own weights on the scale, so to speak. I do think Expedition 33 has reached such acclaim that it actually does have a chance of going toe-to-toe with Death Stranding 2's bias, you know? So, even though I'm handing a lot of these out to Death Stranding 2, it is really a toss-up between those two, just because the industry is in love with it to the point that where they're being obnoxious about it. So, so it is possible
and also
there.
For what it's worth, I don't think that Ghost of Yotei deserves to be on Best Narrative. It's a revenge story. Those have been told countless times.
Yeah, everything I've seen.
Again, like, I'm not really basing this on anything because I haven't played it, which I feel a little disingenuous even saying this stuff.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
knowing what I know about it, it doesn't feel like it belongs here because it's just another revenge story. You know, if they're gonna do shit for shock value the same way that The Last of Us did it, you know, is that award deserving? Not really.
Yeah, it's a tough one for sure. If we haven't played it, I do think wild card kind of thing is Silent Hill F might creep up just because of its subject matter being. I mean, they said it themselves, a very feminist kind of story, and I would love to be standing here going, man, Silent Hill F blew me away just because of who the writer was, but it really didn't. I hate even saying it's a feminist story, but they said it themselves, they wrote it as that, and that's what I got. It beats you over the head with its message whenever it can. It jumps between being vague about subject matter and just beating you over the head with the feminist message. And I hate saying feminist over and over again, but that's what they did. I don't get what their idea was with that, but so a wild card there that could win. Moving on. Best art direction for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. The contenders are Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight Silksong, which was a big thing everybody was waiting for. I think Hades 2 is most likely to win because it is the only game on here that is stylized, and there are a few designs that pander a certain way to a very annoying subgroup of people. You don't think that
Silksong is quote unquote stylized?
It's not stylized enough. It deserves a lot of credit for how it came to be. I appreciate the fact that it's stylized. I think it's the best looking game of the 5 on here. Although Expedition 33 gets a lot of credit from me because I mentioned when Expedition 33 came out, I'm just like, it's realistic but stylized. Like, it's not held back by the realism. It deserves a lot of credit for the way it looks. But I think Silksong looks a little bit better. I'd be torn, honestly. If you put a gun to my head, I would probably end up going with Expedition 33. I'm almost looking at this like my opinions weighted by the industry, which is probably a bad way to look at it, but I think that I think that Hollow Knight probably deserves the win here, just because of the aspect of it that's technical achievement. Wasn't most of it drawn or painted, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I personally think that Silksong is going to win this at the Game Awards.
Yeah, another thing to consider is like because of how these industry awards work, I almost look at it where it's just like, okay, everybody's winning something, but this game in particular needs to win something, and I feel Hades 2 is in that category of it's got to win something at this award, and I think Hades 2, this is the only award it really wins, you know? So it's weird. You know, this is all speculation and fun bullshit anyway, so it doesn't really matter. I'd probably be torn between Expedition 33 and Hollow Knight personally, but all right. Next up, best score and music for outstanding music inclusive of score, original song, or licensed soundtrack. I think that's bullshit. I don't think licensed music should really apply here. I think that's bullshit. You know how passionate I am about video game music in general. So this one, it kind of hits for me. I haven't done enough research to see what I would really pick on here, but the nominees are Silksong, Hades 2, Expedition 33, Ghost of Yotei, and Death Stranding 2. And they list all of the different creators underneath each. I know you probably noticed on there. It's worth noting that Death Stranding 2 lists Woodkid, so I believe that the only reason that licensed music was even considered is because Death Stranding 2 needed another nomination, and that's bullshit. I don't think Death Stranding 2 should be winning this from what I've heard of it. If I had to pick between
I actually really like Woodkid.
I don't have a problem with Woodkid. He didn't make a Death Stranding 2 soundtrack.
No,
his music was like it's like if I gave Assassin's Creed Revelations an award because of what the fuck was the song they used in the trailer for Revelations? Iron?
Dance by Justice?
No.
It's Genesis.
No. You're thinking of a different one. I'm thinking about the the cinematic trailer for Assassin's Creed Revelations. It's a song by Woodkid.
Is it Run Boy Run? It might be that.
I think it's Iron. If that's the name.
I think
of
you might be right.
Song.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good trailer. That was a good song for that trailer. I liked it. I wouldn't give it an award because it's not original music. Make a different category. But yeah, so I would probably
what's your
say
pick for this category?
Of these 5, I would say Expedition 33. I love most of the music from Expedition 33.
I'm gonna fully agree with you on that. From the little that I did play, one thing that was a major standout for me, even though the gameplay is not for me, the music was phenomenal.
Yeah,
I really, really liked the music, and it was all original.
Yes. My only complaint about the music in Expedition 33, and this is definitely something you wouldn't have noticed, this is going to be me sounding a bit snobbish, the mixing is...
Oh, come on.
The mixing bothers me. Hey, I love it. Credit where credit's due. I think the compositions are awesome. I think the performances are great. The mixing is off. It's off in a very flat way that bothers me. Like if you remember way back when Mick Gordon cut ties with Bethesda because of how they handled his music.
Yeah.
Like they did that process, or they failed to do a proper mixing process. It sounds the way that would aggravate somebody like Mick Gordon to leave the company that is Bethesda. That's how the music was treated to me. It bothers me. I hope they do like a remix version or a re-release of the soundtrack where it's not flat and stuff like that. But yeah, Expedition 33 probably wins this. If I were doing our award show and we did a music, which we don't do because we're at uneven playing fields right now when it comes to how we consume the music or just the games in general. But I would have to do like a once-over of the yearly music to determine what I would like at scale to see if there were any snubs. But I would say Expedition 33 would be my pick, and I think it has a good chance of winning in the the category at the award show, barring the Death Stranding, red flag where it shouldn't really even be on here, Next up, Best Audio Design, recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. The nominees are Battlefield 6, Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, and Silent Hill F.
Okay, I got something to say.
I know what you're going to say. Hit me.
I got something to say.
Go for it, my guy.
How the fuck did they not include Arc Raiders in this?
I think it's just Arc Raiders was late to the party. I'm honestly surprised it's in any of these categories. It's too late in the year. I think that if Arc Raiders had more time,
October 30th, it missed like Battlefield 6 by like 2 weeks.
You got to understand something. The industry is filled with inept individuals, even the ones that get picked for these award shows. For smaller I say smaller, but more intricate categories, they have a large realm of missing things. So I'm as you get closer to the end of the year and the beginning of the year, both are red zones for award shows.
Arc Raiders is just going to get shafted. They're not even going to be included in it next year. Then that's crazy because the game is almost built around the fucking audio.
Yeah, the audio.
Not only that,
really
but
good.
just the quality of it is unbelievable. This fucking bothers me so much.
It's the first time that audio has really wowed me since Modern Warfare 2019. I wouldn't say it's as stellar.
Saying something, by the way, I'll say it for everybody out there listening. Anthony does not get wowed by fucking anything.
Yeah,
anything in a game to wow him is a lot.
There's a lot I could say. When I get locked into a game, I typically play the sounds very loud. I love the visceral noises and the music. I did the same for Clair Obscur. I had the music and everything blasting. When I get locked in, I turn up the volume. And Arc Raiders, it's still early for me, so I don't want to go as hard as you are. But I will say that it definitely deserved to be in this category from what little I've heard so far.
Right.
Yeah. I think that what were you gonna say something?
No, I was going to continue with the category.
Yeah, so what I will say is that I think it's a toss-up between Battlefield 6 and Silent Hill F as far as who's going to win this. Silent Hill as a brand has a lot of clout when it comes to audio design, and Akira Yamaoka, the guy who's been in charge of that since Silent Hill 1, left very briefly near the middle. He returned. So I think the sounds in Silent Hill F are pretty good, but I don't know if they're strong enough. I think the industry safer choice would probably be Battlefield 6. I think Battlefield 6 has a stronger chance, but Silent Hill F could take it with a wild card upset potential in Expedition 33 because they have some good sounds there, if not as good as the rest.
Okay. My personal pick, I mean, this probably is not going to come as a shock to you, but it's going to be Battlefield 6.
Yeah,
It just,
it's solid. Solid.
it's solid. Yeah, yeah, it's solid. It's
So,
solid. And Ghost of Yotei, I mean, it, Ghost of Yotei is more of like a visual treat than an audio treat, in my opinion. And I'm
yeah.
only basing this off of my time with Ghost of Tsushima because I just finished that game a few months
Mhm.
ago, and the audio in that game was very very good. But it was clear from playing it that they were really more after a visual splendor rather than an audio one.
Mhm.
And I don't know anything about Death Stranding 2. I don't know anything about Silent Hill F. Claire Obscure, I mean, it sounded good, but I was really only paying attention to the music. I didn't play through it enough to get a feel for the actual audio design. But Battlefield 6, man, like when a jet flies overhead or you're mag dumping in a closed room and you can hear all the echoing and you can even hear the shell casings not only bouncing off the wall but also hitting the floor. Like there's so much going on there, and it's more information for your brain to process in the heat of battle.
Mhm.
Um, like for me, I'm very one-dimensional in this category because I haven't played any other of the fucking games. But I think that Battlefield 6 will win this most likely.
It is. I will say for whatever it's worth, with all the comparisons, I have enough experience with all these games either through directly playing them or watching a great deal of them. And I'm not saying you should watch video games and have that as a pass to judge them, but I've heard them is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
I do think that Battlefield 6 has the greatest chance just because not only does it sound good and it really immerses you, it is loud in the way that gets the attention of the kind of people that would be judging these awards. So I think it has a greater chance of Silent Hill F, but it's a toss up for me.
Again, I just want to put out there that the fact that Arc Raiders was not included in this category is absolutely criminal.
Yeah.
The game's audio it's unbelievable. It's so good.
Yeah.
It's the best audio design I've heard in the game since Modern Warfare 2019. It might even be better, in my opinion, just because so much depends on what you're hearing at any given moment.
Yeah.
Like Call of Duty is still Call of Duty at the end of the day, but like in Arc Raiders, everything could be silent, and then you hear like the low hum of a thruster flying overhead, which happened to us several times today.
Yes.
And
Yes,
we're like, oh shit, like we now have to change our entire approach to what we're trying to do. Like it oh,
it should
bothers me.
have been on here. It should have been on here.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, continue.
Moving on to the next one, best performance. We're probably not going to linger on this one too long, but there is a point I want to make with this. We have
I have something to say about this too, because holy shit.
Yeah. So we have Ben Starr as Verso, Charlie Cox as Gustav, and Jennifer English as Mael, all from Clear Obscure Expedition 33. Then you have Erika Ishii as Atsu from Ghost of Yotei, Konatsu Kato as Hinako Shimizu, sorry, from Silent Hill F, and then Troy Baker as Indiana Jones from Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. I've got to say, this is a packed one this year, even though most of it is from Expedition 33. Erika Ishii has no business being there. Her voice acting is terrible. From my understanding, it has not improved in Ghost of Yotei, and she is a dogshit person by every account I can find. The reason I'm highlighting this specifically is pretty much every Ghost of Yotei being on here as much as it is really just that Sony tax, I guess you could say, on this event, because there were other outstanding games that could have fit the role. There's no reason Ghost of Yotei should be here in as many categories as it is. It's just
Agreed.
It's pushed. It's almost, I mean, don't get me wrong, Ghost of Tsushima, it has its I'm not disparaging the series and the potential it has, but this level of pushing reminds me of fucking Horizon. Like, they're pushing it that hard this year, and it's brutal. But what were you going to say about the nominees?
So the fact that half of the nominees are from the same game is crazy to me. Like this, it's almost as crazy as when Elden Ring got nominated for an expansion for Game of the Year when it won Game of the Year before. Like it's on that same level. So I think it's borderline unfair. I would agree with the fact that all of those voice actors gave stellar performances in that category. I am not disputing that, but the fact that it's half of the nominations is that's too much for me. That's a bit
fair.
much.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't know anything about Erika Ishii. I take your word for that. So, and also don't think, again, I don't think that Ghost of Yotei needs to be on half of these nominations.
Yeah.
I know nothing about Konatsu Kato, so I'm not really going to comment on that. But I will say, from what I have heard from Troy Baker as Harrison Ford in Indiana Jones, he sounds almost indistinguishable from Harrison Ford in that game.
This is a situation where Troy Baker goes out of his way to actually do like a type that isn't necessarily just his voice, like he's been known for with a lot of his, especially the roles where he does for anime games. He tends to do very one note kind of things. He famously voiced a character in the Silent Hill HD collection, and he just did not give a shit. But for this particular role, I mean, he was even honored, so to speak, by Harrison Ford. So he did his best in the role that he was given. He deserves some credit. I don't know who I would even pick for this. I know I wouldn't pick Erika Ishii for the reasons I listed before. Ben Starr, my problem with him is he's starting to get cast in a lot of things, and he's immediately getting typecast. He was like this. He basically does the same voice in Expedition 33, Final Fantasy 16, and one of the new Square Enix games that he's in. He pretty much does the same voice, and I don't like that. I think people should flex their range a little bit. Charlie Cox is just Charlie Cox for what it's worth. I loved his performance in Expedition 33 for whatever that's worth. I would probably give it to... I don't know. I abstain. I just know I wouldn't give it to Erika Ishii. That's my only take on this.
As far as my pick goes, I don't really have a horse in this race, but I feel like I'm not qualified to comment on Expedition 33. So in that regard, I would give it to Troy Baker because, like I said, he sounds indistinguishable from actual Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to the next couple, we're gonna pretty much fly through the next of them because they're just strictly genre based.
A lot of these games.
So best action game. First, I just got to appreciate the fact that there are actual action games in this category because normally
agreed. I was going to say that.
Yes. Action game and action adventure is just like a dumping ground for games they couldn't put in other categories.
I don't think Battlefield should be here, by the way.
Exactly.
As much as I love it, I don't think it should be here.
Exactly. But it's just like there's no first-person shooter role, third-person shooter. It's just everything that isn't action adventure needs to go in the action category. But best action game, we have Battlefield 6, Doom the Dark Ages, Hades 2, Ninja Gaiden 4, and Shinobi Art of Vengeance. I do think Ninja Gaiden 4 is probably the most deserved, although Shinobi also had a great comeback with Art of Vengeance. I don't think Hades 2 is anything special. Doom the Dark Ages, I do think actually belongs here to a certain degree compared to Battlefield at the very least because of the different...
different type of shooter.
Yeah, my that's my take is like the new Doom franchise has kind of leaned into, I don't want to say platforming because that was really Eternal's thing, but there's a lot of movement involved. I do think that it really, like, this is a category that I feel like comes down to what other things are winning. Like if Hades 2 doesn't win anything else, it's probably going to win action here just because that's how these people operate. I think Ninja Gaiden 4 or Shinobi should win, but I really don't know where the industry is going to go because once again, this is just like a dumping ground of different games,
Yeah, my opinion is that I think Hades 2 is going to win. I don't think Battlefield 6 should be here for the reasons I stated before. Yeah. I would like for Doom the Dark Ages to win this, but I just don't think it's in the cards. And I don't know enough about Ninja Gaiden and Shinobi to comment on those, but I think that Hades 2 is going to take the award for this one.
That's a pretty good safe bet, and I do think that. I think Doom, unfortunately, it wasn't as much of a blowout as the original Doom 2016, and it came out so early in the year. I think the industry, it's one of those things that the industry just forgets, but I guess we'll see what happens. Next up, best action adventure game. We have Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotei, Silksong, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and Split Fiction. This is another tough one just because it is kind of like a separate dumping ground. I think this could just be another easy win for Death Stranding 2, depending on where else it wins. This could be the gimme for Ghost of Yotei if it doesn't win anything else. Silksong could come and go. I think one of these categories is going to pay tribute to Indiana Jones. This might be it because everybody loves to talk about the action and adventure aspects of it. And then Split Fiction is just kind of there. I'm not sure what I would give it to, honestly. I wasn't particularly wowed by any of these games. Maybe Hollow Knight? I don't know. I
think that Silksong will win. I think that Indiana Jones has more of a chance than people are expecting.
Yeah.
Like you said, Ghost of Yotei might be a shoe-in for this just because of the industry is the way that it is. Death Stranding 2, I don't consider it an action game at all.
Yeah.
So, and then Split Fiction, like you said, is just kind of there, but I think that Silksong will win.
Probably. Yeah. We'll see what happens. Next up, role-playing game. We have
Who are we kidding? We all know who's going to win.
It should be Expedition 33. The only reason, if Expedition 33,
read off the nominees.
Yes,
I jumped the gun there.
Avowed, Expedition 33, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Monster Hunter Wilds, and The Outer Worlds 2. What I will say is I was surprised to see Monster Hunter Wilds here. A lot of Japanese games tend to get the shaft at this event. Capcom in particular doesn't often get praise unless it's related to Resident Evil. So seeing Monster Hunter on here was a little strange. I do think Expedition 33, short of it cracking the industry barrier of being taken seriously and it getting shot, like, okay, we gave you other awards, we can't give you all the awards, it should probably be Expedition 33. I played Avowed, I was completely lost. It's like I bumped into Garrus and I thought that was neat, and then I checked the fuck out. Monster Hunter Wilds, my understanding is a lot of my Monster Hunter friends were very pleased, even if the PC performance was abysmal, so it's another strong outing from Capcom, but that's kind of like, you know, just Capcom's thing with Monster Hunter. They always tend to be... You hated Avowed.
I did. I was not a fan.
That's fair. Outer Worlds 2, there's a lot there's a lot to say about that game. It is just nothing about that game looks appealing in the slightest, so who knows. And then Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I don't think anyone, it's such a niche hit because I think there was like kind of I don't think the industry really loves it. I think it has a player base, and I think it sold reasonably well this year, but there was a lot of controversy with the players and things going on with that. But the long and short of it is I don't think the industry is going to give it much praise. So I think Expedition 33 might sweep here just because of the different factors that we talked about.
Great.
Next up, best fighting game. You have nothing to say about this, so I'll just
completely abstain.
I'm gonna get this out of the way. Say my piece. We have 2XKO, Capcom Fighting Collection 2, Fatal Fury: City of the Wolves, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection, and Virtua Fighter 5 Revo World Stage. Now, all I'm gonna say on this is I hate it when there are collections in these spots. I think that's dog shit. Neither of these collections should win, especially the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection because it's a dog shit port. Very disappointing, especially considering the guys who were behind it. Fatal Fury City of the Wolves deserves to win. However, between them not being particularly fond of Japanese games and the fact that SNK is doing deals with the Saudis, I can see it getting shafted by the industry, even though it is by far the best fighting game to come out this year. Definitely deserves it. I think it's highly likely that 2XKO is going to win, just because it's a Riot game. Riot games are very easy to win in the industry. It's more appealing on a mass scale. I just think it's going to win. It really shouldn't. It's not a bad game by any means. It's just easily consumable and not necessarily the best fighter that came out that year. That goes to Fatal Fury. City of the Wolves. Moving on. Next up,
for all that.
Thank you, buddy. Next up is best. Love you too, but please. Best family game. Now, this is essentially, as we've talked about before, this is just the Nintendo wins an award here award. We have Donkey Kong Bonanza, Lego Party, Lego Voyagers, Mario Kart World, Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, and Split Fiction. Again, this is just the Nintendo award section. Donkey Kong Bonanza really shouldn't be on here because there's no family element outside of maybe you put your kid in your lap and have them play, you know. Maybe I think that let's see what the description says. The best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. I guess that's what they're going for. Realistically, I feel like one of the Lego games should win. I just don't know what the content in them is, but I have a feeling Donkey Kong Bonanza is going to win just because it's a big budget Nintendo game in that category.
I disagree. I think Mario Kart's taking it.
I think so, but the thing is, this latest Mario Kart, its focus isn't on it's not like a Mario Kart 8 where you gather everybody around and you play. It's very much focused on the open world single player and online nature.
Is that not an option in the game?
It is, but it's not even close to the focus.
But I don't think that's what people buy. What people get Mario Kart for.
I get you. I'm just saying I don't think the game fits. This Mario Kart in particular doesn't fit the bill quite like other Mario Karts. That's the only reason I'm saying it. So if they're going to give it to somebody, this is really just like what is the most family friendly looking game. You know, they're not doing it by metric of like family gets together and plays the game. You know.
I will say I think that Donkey Kong does have a serious shot in taking the award, but I think that Mario Kart is gonna win. I don't know what Split Fiction is doing in here.
Yeah, it's another Split Fiction isn't even appropriate for family play. I don't think there's a couple moments in there. It's whatever. See, that's because they're leaning into that you two people can sit down and play it. So, whatever. Next up, here's another category you have absolutely nothing to say about: sim and strategy.
That's a lie. No,
okay.
I do.
Okay, yeah, that's awesome. We have The Alters. We have Final Fantasy Tactics: The Ivalice Chronicles, which, if you are not familiar, is a remake of the original Final Fantasy Tactics. Jurassic World Evolution 3, Sid Meier's Civilization 7, Tempest Rising, and 2 Point Museum. The one thing I will say right,
2 Point Museum.
It's, I forget who's making it. It's being made by one of the old industry, like, people from, I forget which game they made. It's killing me, and when I look it up, I'm going to be embarrassed. But like people who made, or people who were inspired by an older legacy strategy game came together and made 2 Point Museum, and it's a very safe, very low feature set simulation game that really is just kind of shows you where the genre is. The one thing I will say, the only reason Civilization 7 is on here at all is because of the power that the name carries as a legacy brand, one of the original dating all the way back to the Amiga, because 7 is not that great. And I think Final Fantasy Tactics is censored, but it kind of defaults in because Final Fantasy Tactics, the original, is one of the biggest strategy games ever made. So I have a feeling that might actually win, that might break through. But what did you have to say about this, Dane? Because you actually mentioned that, you had something to say.
I think personally, I think that Tempest Rising is deserving of this.
Oh yeah,
it's not the most original take on an RTS, but it is the how do I make this make sense? It is the most RTS game, the most RTS that we have right now. Does that make sense?
Okay, okay.
And I agree with you with Civilization. That game is here for name alone. I've never heard of 2 Point Museum. Jurassic World Evolution 3, I know next to nothing about.
What I will say about that is that has a very popular niche fan base. Apparently people really love that.
The Alters to me seem more of like a farming sim type of game, which I guess kind of fits into the category. But I don't know. I think that Tempest Rising is the most strategy of these. So I hope that wins because I do like the game, but I think that it also should win.
So you're looking at it as a traditional, like it fits the bill the most and is also good enough. So you feel that okay, that's fair. That's fair. I've said my piece, so we'll just move on. Next up was Best Sports or Racing Game. You have EA Sports FC, which is formerly FIFA. You have F1 25, which is, the simulation racing. You have Mario Kart World. You have Rematch, which it's the Sifu guys made the sports game. I think it's either that or the Rocket League guy. I think it's the Sifu guys, and then you have Sonic Racing Crossworlds. Now, I think Mario Kart World is going to take this one and run with it. Sonic Racing Crossworlds should probably win it, but the Game Awards and Jeff Keighley both hate Sonic, so that's never going to fucking happen. So it's probably going to be Mario Kart World. That's my take on it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Well, that was my answer. I think the Mario Kart's going to win this as well.
Yeah. So easy.
Nothing else to say on
clean, easy. We're just another snub to point out. Best multiplayer starts with Arc Raiders, the only thing it's nominated for. Battlefield 6, Elden Ring, Night Rain, Peak, and Split Fiction. I don't really. I guess Battlefield 6 wins this. Maybe Arc Raiders for me.
I don't think Arc Raiders should be here.
You don't think so?
Not in best multiplayer, no.
I mean, that's
not. I mean, technically, it's a multiplayer game, but that's not why you're jumping into it.
I mean, it is PvP. You can't play it by yourself, so I guess it kind of defaults in. You got to remember this. We're strapped for.
You can play it by yourself.
No, but there are still other players in there. You can't play it by yourself.
No, I get that, but I don't think that's not enough of a reason to throw it into the best multiplayer. I think that Battlefield 6 takes this with ease.
Yeah, probably.
Not because I like the game, just because it is the only, aside from COD, it's the only classic multiplayer arena type of game that we have right now.
That's a fair metric
that
to
came
judge
out
it
this
by.
year.
Yeah, that's a fair metric to
And
judge it by.
not only that, I mean, I think the fact that it did absolute fucking gangbusters is not overlooked at the voting booth for this show. So I think that Battlefield is going to win. I don't think Arc Raiders deserves to be here because you're not. I mean, yeah, some people jump in to go fuck up other people, but it's not in this. I think it'd be disingenuous to call Arc Raiders like a multiplayer game in the same vein as Battlefield or even Split Fiction. Like that even that's weird.
It's almost like a victim of the whole just piling everything into one category.
Yeah. Elden Ring might have a chance because
the industry fucking loves it.
Yeah. I don't know anything about Peak, but I think that Battlefield is winning this.
Peak is what,
and that's also my vote. So.
Peak is what the kids call friend slop, where it's like the game of the month, like Repo or something like that. It's like about climbing. It's almost like a getting over it or a chain together kind of situation. Yep. Mine isn't, but yeah. Split Fiction's on there because it's the only I think it's the only couch co-op game on here. I think, maybe, I don't know. Moving on, this category is going to be a little fun. Best ongoing game. Two of our favorites are on there, but I'll just go through. Actually, no, wait. No. We have Final Fantasy XIV, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, Marvel Rivals, and No Man's Sky. I just noticed Destiny 2 is not on there. I thought it was. Wow, Destiny what does that say about Destiny 2? Holy shit!
Don't even get me started, man.
Yeah, well, we don't have the time for you to get started. What I will say is, as the last one standing who's kind of invested in this category, Final Fantasy XIV does not deserve to win. I have a lot to say about that, which I'll save for next week. I have a feeling that No Man's Sky is currently in an industry darling phase. As you know, we know a few people that have gotten into it, namely Joe. And no shade thrown at No Man's Sky. I think it's probably the strongest contender here as far as just giving the players of the game, your core audience, what they want. So they probably deserve it. I think there's a good chance Marvel Rivals swoops in and just steals it. I can think of no other reason why it's on here outside of just, hey, Destiny 2's out, we need someone else to take the spot. But what do you think?
Final Fantasy I know nothing about, so I'm going to just abstain from that one. Fortnite has been out for fucking forever. I mean, I guess technically it goes on this category because it is an ongoing game. It's never going to stop, but that would not be my vote. I also don't think that it deserves to win. I also don't think that it's going to win. Helldivers 2 has been in a lot of hot water with the community, so and I also don't think that I don't think that Helldivers is going to win. Marvel Rivals, so I think that Marvel Rivals will win, but I don't think that it deserves to. My personal vote would go to No Man's Sky. Just like you said, it's in this industry darling phase. They've also just they have come out with so much free content for players. The redemption story for No Man's Sky is just, it's a once in a generation type of story. I think that No Man's Sky deserves the win. I think that Marvel Rivals will take it home. Okay, that's fair. All right. Moving on to the next category, we have Best Independent Game. We have Absolem, Ball X Pit, Blueprints, Expedition 33, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight Silk Song. So, Expedition 33, this is Expedition 33 is going to win. We all know it. This is a category
it should technically sweep. Again, if for some reason they decide this is a throw a dog a bone category, Silk Song could take this. Who knows? So... go ahead. Expedition 33 is going to win. I am fully convinced of that. Hades 2 definitely does deserve to be here because it is an indie game. It is, but it's almost indistinguishable from Hades 1. Silk Song I think is probably what deserves the win. I have played a bunch of Ball Pit. I like it a lot, but it's no Expedition 33. I've seen people play Blueprints, and I've heard it was very good, but it's just not my type of thing. I also don't think it could hold a flame to Expedition 33, Hades, or Silk Song, so I think it gets beaten out by those two. I know nothing about Absalom. I think that's pronounced, but yeah. So I mean, that's another category. It's like Expedition 33 came out, so it's really hard to judge these because it's really just what does the industry feel like. Because Blueprints, and this applies to the next category too. Blueprints was the kind of artsy thing. I don't want to call it artsy fartsy because that's not entirely what it's about, but it's the kind of game that hit the people that treat games that way perfectly, and it was like the talk of the town for like the month it came out. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens there, which leads us to best debut indie game, which includes Blueprints and Expedition 33. Also Despelote, the first time I'm hearing about it. Dispatch, which is an interesting story, and formerly Megabonk. Megabonk, the developer of Megabonk, came out and said that he didn't reveal who he was, at least not yet, I don't think. But he basically said, hey, I've worked on games before. I'm actually actively in the space. This was just something I did under a different pseudonym, so take me off. And I think he's been removed since then. Yeah. So I would say that I haven't done enough research into all of these, but it is a little... This category is a little scuffed for me because Expedition
What's the
30,
difference between best independent and best debut indie?
Because debut is essentially like an indie studio's first, like... game, so to speak. But as far as I'm aware, Dispatch is like former Telltale guys. Expedition 33 is former Ubisoft guys. I think the guys behind Blueprints did something beforehand. Don't take my word on that. I don't know. It's a little scuffed. I think Blueprints has a chance of winning here. Expedition 33 might. They might throw Dispatch a bone, but it's really just how many awards do they want to give Expedition 33 at this point?
I think that Expedition 33 is going to sweep almost every category that it's in,
pretty much.
Best debut indie, I mean, come on.
Yeah,
it's going to be Expedition 33.
Yep. Moving on.
Right.
We have Best Mobile Game, Destiny Rising, Persona 5, The Phantom X, Sonic Rumble, Unamusume, Pretty Derby, and Wuthering Waves. You only have experience with one of these games. I've played all of these except for Destiny Rising, a little bit of an invert. I'm assuming you want to give it to Destiny Rising.
Well, I mean, I do and I don't, but it's only because I was so big into Destiny for so many years. Like, what Destiny Rising has done with the game on like a foundational level puts Bungie to shame with Destiny 2. So, but I don't know anything about these other games. So and I'm not a mobile gamer. I'm gonna tell you right now, Persona 5 is really only on there because the industry, like, Persona 5 is the industry's, like, we hate Japanese games, but this one is all right. It's a gacha game. It's not much to say about that. It is Persona 5 and all the assets from Persona 5, but used to make a gacha game with all these new characters. It's like an alternate universe kind of thing going on there, which I won't get into. Sonic Rumble is Fall Guys, but Sonic, which is, it's fun from what it is. Not really my cup of tea. Unamusume, I described once on this podcast. I'm fucking stunned it's on this list. That really is just a testament to how it kind of took the world by storm for a month, where you had even average Joes playing it. I think it's kind of fallen off. There's no way in hell that's winning. If it does, I will be fucking stunned and assume that the Japanese Yakuza is involved or something like that. And Wuthering Waves is just another kind of Genshin knockoff with some other things going on there. But I'm just surprised at this display here. So, but I think Destiny Rising is most likely to win. I don't know enough about this to
that's
fall
fair.
One way or the other.
Now, that being said, would you be comfortable like saying yourself that you like Destiny Rising enough that you'd be comfortable with it getting an award?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, moving on from that, we have Best Community Support, which is Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky. Right off the bat, I'm just going to say again, Final Fantasy 14 does not deserve to win this because there's been a whole throughout the year, there's been a whole kerfuffle. The community's always been kind of dog shit, but now there's been fights when it comes to modifications and game mods. I do not know why the community thing is on here, outside of the fact that it's been legacied in and didn't fall off nearly as hard as Destiny 2.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
That's fine.
Wait, was that your whole spiel for this category?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. So, I think that I think Baldur's Gate deserves this. And I also think that it's going to win. And I don't even play Baldur's Gate 3, but like keeping up with the games industry as I do and seeing what Larian has done, month over month over month, I think they deserve it. I think they'll get it. I think they even said that they think it would be a cool idea if Baldur's Gate was on the Steam Deck. So we're gonna develop it for that.
Yeah,
just because
I have Baldur's Gate 3 winning on this one too.
Yeah, Fortnite is just like, okay, enough. Helldivers 2. They need to do better with their community.
I feel like they've been fighting with the community, essentially.
I'm literally going to say it's been a tug of war for the past couple months.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky, I mean...
They're happy?
they're happy, but it's not like they don't engage with their community. Not that I know of, at least. Baldur's Gate 3, I actively see Larian on Twitter, so I think that they're gonna win.
Okay. So the next category is innovation and accessibility. And you may wonder, Anthony, why did you even leave this on here? It's for a very quick and humorous reason, I swear. The nominees are Assassin's Creed Shadows, Atomfall, Doom the Dark Ages, EA Sports FC 26, and South of Midnight. The reason I have this on here is because this is kind of a category that's been solved already. Accessibility options have already kind of peaked where like you have entire pages worth where they basically cheats. It's just a matter of who decides to actually scoop them up and throw them in their games, right? I think Assassin's Creed Shadows is obligated to win something this year, so I think it's just going to win in this category. If it doesn't, that would be really funny, but this is another Gimme Award category, essentially.
I mean, I think that the only experience that I have with this is Doom. And just speaking from experience, the just the sheer volume of options they have in that game is just crazy.
Yeah.
So I personally, that would be my pick. I don't know enough about any of these other games to really call one way or the other. Also, innovation to accessibility is kind of like
a bullshit
kind of a bullshit category. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not against people, being able to play these games through software, but it's like the software has been solved and the hardware has been innovated. This category is kind of like pointless. It's really just a matter of like who decided to take existing features and throw them in their games. Nothing new is being made.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So
moving on.
We're gonna skip over the gaping hole of creator content stuff that I just purposely, skipped. Most anticipated game.
Pause. Hold on.
Yep.
It's not even worth it going through all the we all know who's
everybody loves Grand Theft Auto 6. Yeah. It's 007 First Light, Grand Theft Auto 6, Marvel's Wolverine, Resident Evil Requiem, and The Witcher 4. It's going to be Grand Theft Auto 6.
We don't even need to spend 30 seconds on this. We don't need it. Yeah, it's going to be GTA 6.
Yep. Moving on, we have Best Adaptation, a Minecraft movie, Devil May Cry, Go Fuck Yourself, The Last of Us Season 2, Splinter Cell, Death Watch, and Until Dawn.
I abstain. I abstain.
Yeah, you can abstain.
I have nothing to say to any of these.
All I'm going to say is The Last of Us 2 is probably going to... The Last of Us Season 2 is probably going to win because it is the closest to Hollywood and they love filleting each other. Devil May Cry being on here is an affront to my senses, and I'm actually angry about that. And Sonic 3, the movie, got snubbed, and everybody was really pissed about that. And it would probably be better than everything on here. There's a slim chance a Minecraft movie might win just for meme factor, but who knows. And with that, we've come to the final, which is game of the year, which is Expedition 33, Death Stranding 2, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hades 2, Hollow Knight Silk Song, and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I think there's a very good chance that Kojima gets his Jeff Keighley Award and Death Stranding 2 wins. Of these, I would definitely say Expedition 33 deserves the win.
I am almost in complete agreement with you. It's going to be a tug of war between Expedition 33 and Death Stranding 2. The other four,
the whole thing,
Yeah, the other four are just in here because they need to fill a category, essentially.
Pretty much.
Maybe Silk Song a little bit, but I don't know. Hades 2 definitely does not deserve to be here. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I don't know enough about, so I really can't comment on it.
I'm surprised it's in here, honestly.
Yeah. And Donkey Kong Bonanza, it just doesn't feel like Game of the Year material. It just doesn't.
There's a lot of technical things that it does that's really cool, but it's a very safe Nintendo product.
Yeah. So as far as like what I think is going to win, personally, I think that Expedition 33 is going to take Game of the Year home. But sure. I mean, again, tug of war between Death Stranding 2 and Expedition 33. That really could go either way.
Yeah.
So, but I think it's going to be Expedition.
I mean, it's really just a matter of every year it changes how much of a finger is on the scale, and there's really no way to tell. But it's up and down. It's going to be a tug and war between Expedition 33 and Death Stranding, and with occasional, are we going to pay lip service to Hades 2 and Ghost of Yutei, and then how much is Nintendo going to win this year? But I will say that when it comes down to our award show, there's going to be a bit more variety than these two. Although Expedition 33, I have a feeling is going to come up. So that's Jeff Keighley's official The Video Game Awards, the Game Awards.
Righty then. Cool.
Yeah, I was surprised there was a decent amount of variety on here. A lot of surprising things, especially in things like mobile category. I wasn't expecting some of these things to be in there, but
yeah, I mean, largely it was what I expected. But there were, I mean, I haven't heard of a lot of things on this list. I mean, I don't know, gaming sphere is kind of small.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still have enough insight though to give commentary.
Yeah, there you go. And give commentary you did. Good job, Dan.
Indeed. Well, that is going to bring us to the end of this episode. So if you're still listening after almost 2 hours, good on you. I appreciate it. We both do.
Yeah, of course.
But that was episode 81 of the Pregame Network podcast. We'll be back next week to talk about more news. And then when are we doing our award show?
We will probably be doing. I'll as far as recording, I'll let you know in the next week or so, and then it'll be out before the end of the year.
All right, cool. Well, on that note, thanks for listening, and see you next week.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.